In this video, we're going to uncover something many sense, but few dare to speak about. Let me ask you, have you ever walked into a fast food place and suddenly felt unsettled? Everything seems normal, the lights, the smell of fries, the cheerful staff. But in your spirit, something whispers, "Don't eat here." You shake it off, blame it on being tired. But what if that feeling wasn't just your imagination? What if your spirit was picking up on something deeper, something spiritual? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on an unseen battleground. Because the truth is, some fast food chains have become more than just places to grab a bite, they've become altars of influence in a war you can't see with physical eyes. This isn't about fear. This is about discernment. We're not here to judge people, but to expose spiritual patterns hidden in plain sight. As followers of Christ, we are called to test the spirits, to distinguish between what is holy and what is masked in darkness. Ephesians 6 verse 12 reminds us, "We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, and spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." So when you're standing at the counter, ordering a meal, understand. You may be facing something far more influential than a menu. Today, I'm going to walk with you through 6 well-known fast food chains, and how each has, knowingly or not, opened doors to spiritual compromise. 1. Starbucks. Yes, it's more coffee than fast food, but stay with me. Millions pass through their doors every day. But few question the logo, a siren. Not just any sea creature, but a seductive spirit from ancient myth, designed to lure sailors to destruction with her voice. Why choose that as the face of your brand? It's not just marketing, it's messaging. Starbucks has embraced New Age language, alignment, energy, pride, and seasonal campaigns drenched in pagan overtones. This is more than aesthetic, it's spiritual programming. Symbols are not neutral. What you continually put before your eyes begins to shape your thinking. Every sip may be casual to the world, but as believers, we must ask, what spirit are we aligning with? 2. Taco Bell. At first glance, it's just tacos and burritos. But the name Bell carries deep spiritual connotations. In many pagan traditions, bells are used in ritual to summon spirits, to open portals between realms. Now look at the logo again, a half-lit bell over a dark void. A portal. In the early 2000s, Taco Bell ads were filled with surreal and even disturbing imagery, upside-down visuals, shapeshifters, chaotic realities. This isn't random creativity. It's slow spiritual disorientation, confusion, which is a fertile ground for deception and witchcraft. Even testimonies from former employees mention unexplained experiences, eerie energies, and nightmares after closing shifts. Coincidence? Or consequence? 3. McDonald's. It's the most recognizable brand on the planet. Family-friendly. Colorful. Safe, right? But pause for a second, what do the golden arches truly symbolize? To some, it's just a giant M. But spiritually, they resemble 2 pillars, an ancient motif found in occult temples and mystery religions. Twin gates. 2 paths, light and dark. McDonald's has become a global altar for indulgence. Not just food addiction, but the spirit of mammon, a force Jesus warned about in Matthew 6 verse 24. You cannot serve both God and mammon. This isn't about fries. It's about feeding the flesh while starving the soul. 4. Domino's Pizza. Domino's may seem harmless, just a pizza chain with a simple logo. But let's look closer. Their logo features 2 domino tiles, one with a single, the other with 2 together, making 3. Seems innocent, right? But in occult numerology, numbers are more than math, they're messages. 3. The number of divine unity in the Christian Trinity is often twisted in occult use to mock the sacred. But there's more. Consider the name Domino's. It echoes the Latin word dominus, which means lord or master. Unintentionally or not, the branding reflects ritualistic repetition, order after order, fast delivery, easy indulgence. It creates a pattern of craving and obedience, satisfaction without pause. That's how the enemy works, not always through chaos, but through the subtle building of habits that desensitize the soul. It's not about pizza. It's about programming. 5. Burger King. Have it your way. That's Burger King's iconic slogan, and on the surface, it sounds like great customer service. But think spiritually. Have it your way is the spirit of rebellion, the very root of Lucifer's fall. Isaiah 14 verse 14 tells us Satan's words. I will ascend. I will be like the Most High. This is the anthem of pride. Of putting self above submission. Burger King's branding reinforces that idea: you are the king. You call the shots. You satisfy the flesh. But the Bible teaches us a different truth. We're not called to serve ourselves, we're called to submit to the King of Kings. Every slogan plants a seed. What's being planted when we repeat, have it your way? 6. KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Colonel Sanders is one of the most recognizable faces in food marketing. But the deeper concern isn't the chicken, it's the cultural conditioning. KFC has used distorted imagery in international campaigns, human-animal hybrids, unnerving mascots, and surreal music videos in Asia. They've embraced bizarre, dreamlike visuals that subtly mimic occult trance states. Beyond that, fried food itself, consumed in excess, lowers spiritual sensitivity. Why? Because when the body is inflamed, exhausted, and burdened, the spirit struggles to stay alert. 1 Peter 5 verse 8 says, be sober-minded, be watchful. When our diet leads to brain fog, lethargy, and addiction, we become spiritually drowsy, and that's when the enemy moves in. 7. Wendy's. You might not expect Wendy's to make this list. It looks innocent, old-fashioned values, a red-headed mascot. But symbols speak. The curly-haired girl? Look closely at her collar and the logo, it spells out Moem. A nod to nostalgia? Or something more? In occult marketing, emotional manipulation is key. By tying branding to motherly love, comfort, and childhood, it lowers our guard. The food industry uses false comfort to trap the soul, because when we feel unloved, weary, or anxious, we seek emotional substitutes. But Wendy's offers no true nourishment, only temporary satisfaction that fades, leaving a deeper emptiness behind. There's only one true comforter, the Holy Spirit. 8. Subway. Eat fresh? Maybe not spiritually. Subway's green and yellow branding signals health and life, but many locations have been associated with corporate corruption, hidden ingredients, and deceptive marketing. Even the layout of the store resembles a cafeteria assembly line, where people mindlessly pick options from a system. This mirrors the world's message. You're in control. You make the rules. You design your truth. But that's a dangerous path. Proverbs 14 verse 12 warns. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Without spiritual discernment, customization becomes confusion. 9. Chick-fil-A. Now, you might be surprised to see this here. Chick-fil-A has a Christian reputation, is closed on Sundays, and promotes family values. So what's the concern? While the foundation of Chick-fil-A began with godly intentions, no brand is above discernment. In recent years, the chain has quietly partnered with corporations that promote agendas contrary to biblical values. This isn't a condemnation, it's a wake-up call. Even brands with a Christian past can drift. We must be careful not to place our faith in corporations. Only Christ is unchanging. Watch where your trust lies and ask yourself, am I eating in alignment with my convictions, or with convenience? 10. The spirit behind the craving. This final point isn't a chain, it's a truth. The enemy doesn't need horns and fire. Sometimes, he only needs a drive-through speaker, a catchy jingle, and a craving you can't explain. Spiritual warfare shows up where we least expect it. That late-night snack? That addiction to sugar or salt? That restless urge to fill an emotional void with fries or caffeine? It's not just your stomach talking. Sometimes it's a spirit whispering. Feed the flesh. Forget the spirit. Numb the pain. But you weren't created to be a slave to your appetite. You were made to walk in victory. To live by the Spirit. To eat with purpose even in the small things. 1 Corinthians 10 verse 31 says, "Whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God." Final thoughts. Friend, none of this is about legalism. It's about freedom. Freedom from deception. Freedom from bondage. Freedom to live with eyes wide open.